I gave the rappers creative license to adjust the flow to their tastes, which they did stupendously. But now I'm facing the problem of transcribing the very complicated rhythm of rap into standard notation so that actors can rap exactly as these rappers did in their recordings. So I started doing the transcriptions right in Finale and discovered that it was just taking a long time. So I came up with this solution, which is helping a lot. So back in Logic, I have created a track here. It's a drum track, and I'm using the snare in the piano roll down here at the bottom of the screen to get the rhythms of the rapper quantized exactly. So here's a little bit of the rapping without the quantizing. Play a little of this for you. So then I painstakingly go in and do this. Okay, so let me do a little bit of it here. So here's the point where I'm at. Started. So then you got to listen to this little section. So it didn't get it right. So let's just work with this piece right here. So then we need one here. I'm working with 16ths. And here we are to finish what we started. Low tech, all broken, parted. I think that's it. All broken. Okay, so you get the idea. Okay, so you get the idea. So I'm going to finish this up and zoom forward to the next phase. Okay, so I have gone in and put the rhythms into the piano roll for the entire rap section. Sounds like this. Okay, so then the next thing you need to do is take all this and link it together. So what I have is a whole bunch of little 16th notes. So I'm going to select all of them and join them together. So what I did is I just the key commands. I'm selecting this one. I hit Shift F and it grabs them all, and then I do Shift backspace, and that links these rhythms all together. So now it's not all 16th notes. It's consistent notes all the way throughout. All right, now the next thing I got to do is I need to take this track and export it as a Midi file. So all I want is what the rapper did. So I'm going in here and selecting only that area. Go to the end of it here, and it looks like, there we go, all the way to the end. All right. Okay, so now I select the track up here, and I'm going to actually drag this looper over the track, go over to File, Export, Selection as Midi file, and just dump it somewhere. This is fine. So the tune is called Space Funk, so Space Funk Rap I'll call it piano roll, and save it. Now I need to launch Finale. Okay, so here it is. We open it in Finale. Let's drag it over into this screen, and here it is right here. Okay, so all I'm interested in is this wrap section right here. So what I like to do is I just like to grab it, and let's move those notes up to C. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to transpose them up to C. Go up an octave. B, yeah, let's go up to C. So we're going to go up a second to C. There we go. Alright, so here is our wrap all transposed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these notes, and I'm going to make them so they're not notes because this isn't sung. So how you do that is in your tools palette, you select this wrench, and that pulls up this sub menu. You grab this note head tool, click on a measure. Yeah, this is a flaw in this program. You have to do it a measure at a time. Double click these notes, and I'm picking this X right here to say that these are not sung, these are wrapped, right? So let me go through this process. I've gone through and changed all the note heads to X's to imply that this is rhythmic rather than pitch. So let's view this as in scroll view. So the next step is to grab all this stuff. Let's go back to page view. Grab all this stuff and put it into the score for this space funk song. So let's grab it all from here to here. This is the wrap as Slim Calhoun, the artist who is hired to do this, did it. So here's the score right here. Here's the old rap section that I had, the inferior rap section. Slim brought some really interesting ideas to the song in how he rapped it, and I was very happy with his work. So what I do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to paste it here, but it looks like it goes from bar 48. I just want to confirm that it's the same length. And he goes all the way to, oops, stop, 78. 78. Okay, so let's paste it. Make sure it fits in there. Alright, there we go. It's a space funk. It's a space funk, yo. I think that's it. Okay, now let's transpose that up onto the C. So I'm going up this octave here. Oh, needs to go up more. What is that, a sixth? Transpose up a sixth. Boom, onto the C. Now another thing that I like to do with rap is as you're listening to this score, you're going to hear that note. Like, let's see if I can play a little bit of it for you. Make sure my Midi is on. Let's try playing a little bit of this from 47. So who wants to hear that when you're working in Finale? I certainly don't. So here's how I handle it. I take all the notes that are wrapped. That is a good way to confirm that the rhythms are in there correctly. Stop. And I go into Edit, and I'm going to copy the layers, and I'm going to take these that are on layer 1, and I'm going to move them to layer 4. So these notes just went to layer 4. Then, Document Options, and I am going to Layers, Layer 4, and I don't want layer 4 to play back. Hit apply and OK. Now when I play the score, you won't hear the annoying rhythm, and you can turn it back on if you want later. Oh, I keep doing that. Stop. There are a couple of things about Finale that are a little annoying. That's one of them. Okay, so let's try playing this again from 47. Right? Okay, so the next step is to get all the lyrics in here. So I'm going to actually go back to, because Slim Calhoun actually changed the lyrics a little bit when he rapped, adjusting the flow. I'm going to go with Slim's lyrics rather than the ones that I sent him, because his are better. So I'm going to go ahead and solo the track that Slim rapped on.
Space funk. Feels a little more like space junk. Jail bunk in the cell with all the space punks. Brains.
Okay, so then we go back to Finale and we start plugging those in. Here, right here is the lyric tool. Come on, man. Oh, I got to enter the lyrics on the same layer as the notes, so that's layer 4. Space funk. Feels a little more like space junk. Okay, now this I'm going to fast forward. So it's time at this point to clean it up a little bit, make it a little bit more legible. So I like to do this sort of as a manual process rather than just respelling all the notes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these, take some of these ties out. I'm just trying to make it easier to read because it's super complicated. So maybe I'll leave that tie in. Sometimes it's easier to see all of the 16th notes broken out. But let's go through it and see what we have. All right, so here's something right here. Right here I have, most and the vacants of space, we all. Okay, so this tie needs to be gone. So let's go to this tool here. Drag this over. I'm going to get this eraser. And the vacants of space. No, that tie stays, but that is going to be an 8th note. So maybe I am going to change that into an 8th note. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this tie. And I am going to most and the vacants of space, we all based. So let's do this. Grab this, put it here. Oh, we all based in this. Okay, there's the problem. Most and the vacants of space, we all based in this place. So let's get rid of this 16th. It's a tedious process, man. We all most and the vacants of space, we all based in this place. And then we've got a rest here. So I'm going to grab this 16th and put it here and hit the R key. Boom, you could say it's a monumental disgrace. Let's get rid of this note here. So I'm going to select my 8th note up here and click here. Hit R. And let's get rid of this. Whoops. You could say it's a monumental disgrace. So get rid of the tie, and I'm going to dot this one, and that should take me into the next bar. I'm going to go back and refine some of this stuff because I think I'm actually liking the eighths instead of the sixteenths. For me, it's easier to read. So right here, well, okay, so there's a difference between an eighth and a dotted sixteenth. So I'll take 2 sixteenths and combine them into eighths, but I don't think I'm going to make any dotted eighths, which are 3/16 notes, because that to me is slightly more difficult to read when you're reading rhythms this difficult. I'm going to leave this one in here because it's the last note in the measure. All right, so I'm going to leave you here. You can see kind of how this works. You just have to go through and make the refinements, the final touches to it. Like for example, that bar at the end that I had earlier, it was just a artifact. So that can go away. Get rid of this tie. And that is one way, the way I've discovered to transfer rhythms from complicated rapping into standard notation.